So in this section, I'll be giving you a starting point. And I think you should add your own thoughts and observations to the basic points that I'm making, because the more we understand about the signs, the better off we're going to be. And if you think back to section 15 about the houses and the fact that a sign on a cusp is going to give information about the affairs of that house. Okay, so if you have Capricorn in the 5th house, then the more you know about Capricorn, the more you can know, or the more you will know about your children. And the more we know about, I don't know, let's say Virgo, and if you have Virgo in the 7th house cusp, the more you know about Virgo, the more you're going to understand about what you can expect from partnerships and the kind of person that you're going to find that you would tend to marry. So, a sign can show a direction in which to travel. So we might think of signs as showing the direction in which development will naturally occur, or the direction in which a sign is predisposed to go. So if we go along these lines, what is the direction for a particular sign? And I think that people are always acting out their sun signs. And I'd like to show what I mean by looking at Hugh Hefner, who's an Aries, Larry Flint, who's a Scorpio, and Paul Guccione, who's a Sagittarian. And they were, and they maybe still are, the publishers of soft porn magazines. This began years ago when I first thought of Hugh Hefner, and then that led me to figure out, or to find out the signs of other publishers of similar material as Playboy. And so I found Larry Flint and Paul Guccione. So Hugh Hefner is an Aries. And I just want to sort of ramble on a bit about various things. So Hugh Hefner's an Aries. His magazine is called Playboy, right? And its main claim to fame in the beginning, people said they bought it for the articles, but we know they really bought it because it featured pictures of large-breasted women, right? So Aries is the child. Children are breastfed. Men can have obsessions with breasts, which can represent comfort and security. A young man is a boy. Aries is the child of the zodiac, and children like to play. So what does Hugh Hefner, the Aries, call his magazine? Playboy, featuring big-breasted women. Somehow, the symbolism of Aries explains, or it all makes sense when you know that Playboy was published by an Aries. And just the mentality and the approach, the publishing approach that he took. Okay, so I'm saying Aries are Aries whether they know it or not, and they act like Aries whether they're aware of it or not. By contrast, Larry Flint is a Scorpio, and Scorpio is a more obviously sex-related sign. And Larry's magazine, I don't know if it still is, it was more overtly pornographic than Playboy, because Playboy was kind of sort of quite naive in its own way. Whereas Scorpio, there's no beating around the bush. They just it was sort of, I don't know. Scorpio is often referred to as a manipulative sign, using people for its own ends. And Larry called his magazine Hustler. And again, a Scorpio calling his obviously pornographic magazine Hustler, it all seems to tie in and make sense. And thirdly is Paul Guccione, who's a Sagittarian, I found out. And he published, the name of his magazine is Penthouse. Okay? So with Bob's magazine, you're getting the promise of wealth and position in society and proof that you've made it and that you are a powerful individual because you live in the penthouse. Just like Jupiter, the chief sky god and the ruler of Sagittarius. So I don't know about you, and I don't know what I would call, if I had a porn magazine, I don't know what I would call it. But it's not really an area of publishing that particularly appeals to me. But I think that these three examples indicate that people are their zodiac signs, or they demonstrate the symbolism of the signs even if they don't realise it and are not aware of it. If we take the idea of a sign as a signpost, then it points you in a certain direction and not other directions. So everything can't mean everything. Although when you talk to people nowadays, astrologically, or people who are involved in astrology, for them everything means everything, and they don't want to be specific and to be precise. I'll give you examples of this as we go through. So, for example, Taurus is the bull, and Leo is the lion, and we know that a bull is not a lion.